Round, fuck around, I fuck around. Yeah, fuck around, round, round, I fuck around. I fuck around, round, round, I fuck around. Fuck around, round, round, I fuck around. Fuck around, round, round, I fuck around. Fuck's fucking up and down this fucking street. I gotta find a fucking place where the fuckheads meet.
You guys catch the boots out here? That's a hard ground, man.
Those fuckers and me are getting fucking known. Yeah, the fuckheads know, so fucking leave us alone.
I don't want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat.
I fuck around, round, round, I fuck around, fuck around, round, round, I fuck around, fuck around, round, I fuck around, I fuck around, round, fuck around, round, fuck around, I fuck around, yeah, fuck around, round, I fuck around, 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 fuck around, round, I fuck around,
What is up? Oh, we are fucking around today.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
I really believe that is the state of 2023 and the glorious leader of Joseph Robinette Biden III. Fucking idiot. What's up, everybody? Flagrant. And you guys know, co-host, Mr. That guy. Yeah, Fusion High. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. I mean, actually, I guess there's quite a bit going on this week.
Yeah.
Kind of nuts.
One thing that's definitely happening. Bam! Revenge of the 45th, baby.
I said it on Front Porch's stream. People underestimate his marketing prowess. That his first tweet back, he actually hasn't. I don't think he hasn't tweeted since, has he?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to. If he's just gonna leave it at that.
Oh man. Yes, it is Clout Goblins. It is our whatever episode it is. There's numbers and stuff that we've put on there. I'm probably going to be a fatty and eat some cheese and pepperoni while we're streaming. But yeah. Let's see. One of the things I want to get into today, I want to touch on some of the Redpill stuff because Tim's Culture War podcast this year had Fresh and Fit on it, and then like a kind of a TradCon guy, but not like super trad. And then
what was his name? Remember?
Nope, that is not what I wanted.
Yeah, I really don't follow Redpill anymore.
Well,
there's nothing really interesting coming out of them because it's just the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, that is a big thing, and I really wanted to push back on some of the guys who do all the Redpill stuff because his name was Jason Howerton.
That does sound familiar.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I'm gonna look it up.
who he is or anything, but One of the things they talked about in there was like guys having sex with a bunch of women before they like really settle down into a relationship. And they said it was because women are more promiscuous. They want a guy who's successful and who's and good in bed and all this stuff. And I the reason I push back on it in my head is because most guys, and this is from personal experience, and I guarantee every fucking dude out there has the same thing. Once you get it out of your system, go jerk it, you look at a woman completely different for at least the next few minutes. So, like, a lot of dudes' problems, I think, is they get with these girls and they have sex with them, which some women, especially in rural areas, they still have a lot of emotion tied to it, and most women still do anyway. But for the dudes who aren't out there having a lot of luck, getting a lot of dates, seeing a lot of women, they fall for the honeypot. They get laid, they'll think, "Oh, this is so great, she's awesome," and then they'll look past all the red flags. Like, if I had advice for anybody, like, just get it. Don't go out on a date with a loaded gun. Empty the chamber before you go out. Have a clear head, a clear conscience, because I guarantee if there's some girl you've been talking to and you're out, the little things that annoy you and you don't really like will click a lot harder whenever you don't have baby batter on the brain. But I think it's got, like, that part has a lot to do with how passive we've become as a society too. A lot of people aren't just as forthcoming or straightforward and honest as they used to be. Because
Were people straightforward and honest before?
I feel like back in the early 1900s, yeah. I feel like guys definitely were. They were definitely more masculine and, set their boundaries and told what they want. And I
Stoicism
mean,
doesn't necessarily mean straightforward and honest, though. Stoic, I'd
Yeah.
believe. I'd buy into being a bit more stoic. Just less emotional. In general, is probably because their T levels were on average just higher than what we've got in the last couple of generations.
yeah, for sure.
That contributes a lot to emotionality when it comes to men.
Well, and you got to
I can
look
speak
at
from experience, having knowing the difference when my T got low versus when it got normalized. It was a huge difference.
Yeah, and that's I feel like it was unspoken. What was unspoken? Z. What was
Yeah, do elaborate a little bit more, Z.
Yeah.
I do agree with that latter part. I think there was a bit more element of survival.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, well, I mean, you got to look at it too. Like 100, 200 years ago, it was all about family and survival. And I think that has a huge part to play in it. And I think people miss that back then you had to bust your ass, work hard, and even then you might not survive. You could farm the ground all day long. You have one bad crop, one bad weather incident, one bad locust swarm, and you're wrecked. And for those, like, you had to hunt, you had to farm, everything to survive. And I think that missing, and then social media giving average women access to high tier guys that those guys are never going to pick them because they're average women, but they'll take that little fanciful 15 minutes of spotlight and they value that over finding a relationship with someone who's more on their level and they can build a future with. I'm kind of rambling too, though.
That's fine. That's what we do here. We rant.
It's true.
Could rebrand this channel as just Goblin Rants.
That's true. Like, I don't know, man. The dating in my area is pretty rough. Like, I'm fortunate to be a somewhat decent looking guy. But I mean, I know there's a lot of improvement even I need to make. I think that's something that everyone's doing though, or should be trying to do every day. But like, if I didn't have decent looks and some decent pictures to put on profiles for dating, I would probably be single for a very, very, very long time. And I don't know what dating is like in Florida, but
I don't either. I haven't dated around here.
all right, I'm gonna stuff my face a little bit.
You gonna powder your nose?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But and the one thing too, like I see the Redpill guys, and it seems that they're acquiescing more than they're trying to change the culture of it.
Yes.
Like,
that is my primary issue when it comes to the Redpill space, is that it's more well, they've done very well at identifying the issues. Their solutions are more just kind of roll with it.
mhm.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't think. I mean, I'm with you. Like, I think, especially someone that's in at a level of like Fresh and Fit, like they're in the millions of subscribers now on YouTube, aren't they? Like, they've got a huge audience. They were one of the largest. I mean, when it comes to Red Pill space, I think they were the largest, but they're one of the largest out there, just in general. I would think. I mean, if you cared about purpose, you might instead of just grifting and making money, you might use your platform for actually trying to shift culture. Just what I think someone like Eric July, which is why I respect him like so much more, is just like he's actually trying to shift culture.
Mhm.
This is why he doesn't get involved with politics, because he understands that. I mean, when I say get involved with politics, I mean he doesn't do anything with the party. He's a libertarian, but he's not. He's not going to run for office or whatever. He's like, if he comes to the convention, it's really just to speak. And I don't even know if he's been to one recently, but his whole spiel, like, and actually, I just finished reading ISOM 2. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but to me, like, his comic book series, it shows his philosophy is in there. If you followed him long enough and you know his philosophy, you can see it in there. And I mean, I'm pretty well in line with him from a political standpoint. So to me, it's beautiful. And I'm like, that is how you shift culture.
Sorry, you got my mouth full.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No worries.
I mean, that's the main gripe I had about it. Like, listening to it, it's like, if you're not going to change the culture, then all you're doing is setting it up for further failure in the future.
Yeah, the proportions that they talk about when it comes to all the data sets that they like to spout out, it's just like you're not going to shift it at all. If anything, you're shifting it worse in the direction that you're saying is the problem.
Yeah, because
you're just encouraging the same kind of behavior.
Mm-hmm. And then, to me, it actually works against guys who are decent guys, because if you're going to play the game with them, it's just going to keep building up and building up to a higher and higher point that no one's going to be able to reach, or at least a large amount of the population. Because what social media is pushing now, and what especially on the Red Pill side, it's all about money and power and all this fanciful shit, Instagram life shit. And I'm sorry, but 99% of regular people will never achieve that kind of lifestyle. Not especially given the inability of the government to actually govern its people in a decent way to where it's fruitful for them in the long run.
Hmm.
Now, there probably could be an argument made to where if you like cut down on government big time and got rid of corruption and all the bureaucracy and the wastes of money, that things would improve on a personal level for everyone.
I mean, that's the whole like libertarian philosophy. A rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, and
And the free market is the rising tide. If you let the free market flow, the tides will rise for all.
One of the things I think really played into that was the fact that they just opened the workforce, because back when they made every job equal opportunity, they basically increased the workforce. Not 50%, but probably about 30%, and they could just keep their wages stagnant. They got 30% more workforce for no extra cost at all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's in conjunction with our monetary policy. That's how they pull that off.
Yeah. And then it went from the man being able to work a job that is a good job, a trade job or factory job or anything like that, being able to afford a decent home, put food on the table, stuff like that, to where now you almost have to have two incomes unless you're in that lucky upper bracket. And it's ridiculous.
Pretty
Like,
much.
there's people from the 70s who bought a $30,000 home that's worth 300,000 or 400,000 now. And it's almost impossible for young people to start purchase a home, let alone avoid the scam of renting.
I own a rental property. What do you mean scam?
Well, not everyone, but
Okay.
like, I mean,
clarify, please.
like BlackRock and them, like they
Yeah,
go up
okay.
and they buy property, they jack up the price, even though
You're
they
talking
got
about
it
market
at a
manipulation.
discount. Yeah, and the reason they get away with it is because they have an exclusivity. Here's something you can rent or somewhere you can live, or it's a decent place. Like, they use that to manipulate and drive up prices and keep people out.
Well, that and they just have a endless supply of capital.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting us straight from the financial sector. I mean, I don't understand how it hasn't turned on its head with the raising of interest rates. That's one thing I have not been able to comprehend yet. I need to do some research on that. But generally, what happens when the cycle is that they drop interest rates, money supply expands, so demand increases, market flourishes. However you define it. But then when you raise interest rates, that capital dries up. But they've somehow been able to. Now, I'm not familiar with their portfolios either. I'm not sure what else they could be tapping besides just the capital. Because when I say capital, I'm talking like loans. Because all the money that comes out of the financial sector is just loans. So it all has to be paid back at some point. So either they're still getting capital at a lower interest rate, which wouldn't surprise me. It's just nepotism, or they're working something out with the lenders and kicking it down the road. Or maybe they bought out the lenders. Who knows? That could be. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
as much capital as they had, they could have just turned around and bought the stock and whatever banks they were dealing with and changed out the board and just rewrite their terms at will. Which there's probably some law against that, but as we all know, it's always rules for not for me.
Come on.
Yeah.
I see BlackRock going to jail real soon.
Only way BlackRock is going to jail is if
there's money to be made in it and they can gain more control.
Well, no, I'm saying no. I think it's if you have like an actual like kinetic revolution and the people do it themselves.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, what do you think would be something that would make a big change to the dating world now?
I think, well, what I think the dating world could use, I'm gonna get religious on people, is more. I had a good word for it, and I already forgot it. Where I was going with it. Essentially, more God-centered living and less. Like to some degree, I think men are just gonna have to let go of the dating market for a hot minute, and kind of just. I mean, it sounds like I'm agreeing with the red pill, but I'm really not, because I think it's different than how they prescribe it. But essentially, like, work on themselves, but work on yourselves not for the sake of just like, oh, I need to get a partner. You need to have a mindset that's independent of, like, you can't set your value on what another person thinks of you, man or woman. But the way that the red pill prescribes it is you're working on yourself so that you can be attractive to a woman, and that's always ultimately going to fail in the long run. You need to. I mean, so in the end, yeah, you need a bit more self-confidence, guys. Is what it comes down to. You need to know your worth that's outside of that. And I think, I mean, personally, I think that you find that better with God and Jesus. You know, work on your spirituality first, know your value as a person. And that's outside of what the red pill prescribes, which is like what you've accomplished. How much money do you have? What can you provide? Like, those things don't define who you are. Those are things that you have to offer, and those are good things to have, but those are not ultimately your value. You're a human being. You have a soul. You're so much more than that. And I think that's where it starts. That's my thought. So, now I remember the word I was thinking. I was thinking revival. It's what the church calls a revival, is when you have a spiritual awakening within the population. I think if there was this bit more of a spiritual awakening and a little bit less of chasing just earthly desires, I think you'd see a big shift.
I definitely agree that the guys need to just drop it like a hot potato for a minute, because, and I mean, just everything, like, from not just from a dating standpoint, but from a complete cultural and financial standpoint. Like, women who want to act, women want the same, what they see as bonuses as guys, but they don't want any of the shortcomings or downfalls. So make women go into oil rigging, crabbing, construction, diving, underwater welding, make sure everything's 50-50 on the dangerous jobs from the ground up. Put them in the draft. Stop buying them dinner. Make them pay their own rent. Like, stop, and for like sports stuff, like, stop funding the sports that they want money for, but don't make the same draw for. Like, make a huge. I think you're right. Like, there's going to have to be a huge cultural change, and it's going to be up to us to do it. Like, like, you heard this argument about the trans women in women's sports, and we tell the women, like, hey, this is your problem. You need to say something, not us. But lo and behold, everybody's a chicken shit about it because they're so afraid of losing their scholarships or their money or their fame or anything like that. They don't want to get canceled. And doing that doesn't do anything but perpetuate the problem further, because you're going to have, now we do have this couple of standout women like Riley Gaines.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. She's a skateboarder that works with Timcast now. But they spoke out against it, and yeah, they got harassed, canceled, you name it. But now they're much better off than what they were before.
Yeah, we're seeing cycling organizations for different countries banning the practice. I don't know if we've seen it in track and field yet. I know that's still a big. And we still haven't seen it in swimming. I know that William Thomas is still, I believe, still doing. Well, I don't know what his like. Has he graduated yet? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Because he's got to be close at least. Because wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was already a senior this past year, so he's probably not in this new season. Maybe that's why it's not talked about much. Which, I mean, it's August, so I don't know when swim season falls. Is that a winter sport or a spring sport?
Well, he graduated in 2022.
Okay,
so he graduated last year.
I mean, there still needs to be a push because he owes those medals back, and any financial gain, I think he should be given back. But
Riley Gaines, you've heard that story, right?
Which one? I've heard a lot of stories around her.
When him and Riley tied, and they gave him the medal.
Oh yeah.
Place. And it all came down to the ref or the official basically being told, "You will give this medal to Leah Thomas."
I mean, that was one thing that has gotten to me, and I've said this a few times online, and nobody's given me an answer. Now I think Riley Gaines is one of her coaches has been backing her, but I don't even know what his name is. And that's been my thing, is just like, where are the coaches with this? The coaches, I mean, I had a track coach who would fight tooth and nail for his athletes. There's not a way in hell that he would let this kind of thing happen to his girls track, because he's really proud of his girls track. He had a lot of like high caliber athletes, including one that was like nationally recognized on the in the 400. So it's like, so where are those coaches? The ones that you're not going to stand up for your own athletes. Like, I get, okay, the one where William Thomas was actually swimming for, okay, we're just going to cut that to just being greedy. You know, he really wanted to win, whatever. But all of the ones that are taking the losses because of this, like, how does your own ego not push you to take at least throw a jab at it? Like, but no, complete silence, like from so many schools. And I mean, people don't understand how many schools there are in the NCAA, because there's multiple divisions. And now, granted, I know it wasn't like throughout like all levels. Like William Thomas was the one that was getting all the headlines, but he's not the only one. All right.
Yeah. So I was sitting here thinking about it. It's like, you know what? Maybe this is a good thing for the culture, because maybe if men go in and just beat the shit out of women at every sport or anything they play, they'll give up. I mean, yeah, it's God. I don't. The one that pissed me off the most with that was Fallon Fox. I don't know what his real name is, but she's the one who was doing MMA, and no one knew that she was a biological male. And
yeah, before it's known, I have a problem with it. But I will say this: like, after it's known and you're a woman and you're still taking the fight, well, it is kind of your option at that point. But because there wasn't any forcing on the UFC's part to. Was it the UFC or was it another organization? Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Because I had trouble imagining that Dana White would let that fly.
I don't think it was UFC. I think it was some other MMA promotion, though.
Like one of those amateur ones?
Yeah. That may have been affiliated with UFC. But, dude, finally, I think it was like 3 fights after he shattered a chick's orbital bone. Like that's a very serious injury. Like you could
Yeah.
lose your eyesight. And dude, like I don't get it. And the problem is there's been more that's happened since then. I can't
Yeah.
remember the other guy's name. He was a Navy vet
I know
who,
which one you're talking about.
yeah,
I picture it in my head, but I don't remember the name.
like absolutely not trained, unskilled, and goes up against one of the better female fighters who's trained all her life for jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And still he I think he almost got submitted, but his raw power won him the fight.
Yeah, because
Like,
the average man is going to be better, is going to be elite in the women's division. That's just the way it works.
yeah, like I say, like even now, I think sit here and think about it. Like I'm completely out of shape, no stamina, nowhere near the same strength I used to have. I'm probably going to be able to curl and bench more than 80 to 90% of women in my area, which is just, I mean, it's crazy. I've always been lucky though with my frame. I've always been able to maintain some kind of strength, but I mean, I think that goes for most guys though, especially guys who are physical at their jobs.
I mean,
Like,
just anybody who's even semi-athletic,
mhm,
works out, just a couple times a week. Because I mean, obviously, there's the way how to. Because yeah, even the obese guys, unless you're like morbidly obese and can't move, you know,
but from a strength standpoint, obese guys are way stronger than regular guys in some aspects.
yeah, I mean, just in direct strength, I'm just thinking that, like, in terms of anything else, that as long as they don't have to move too far from one exercise to the next, they can.
Yeah,
They have disadvantages obviously in their life, but yeah,
like
I mean, that's the
the
effects of
300.
testosterone. That's just how. That's what it. That's what having testicles does to a person.
Well, the 350-pound guy who just eats candy and might go for a walk every now and then is going to be able to leg press way more than just about any woman who's worked out all of her life.
Well, I mean, I guess if you think about it, that person, if he does walk at all, is actually working. Technically, if he's walking at all, that's actually a huge workout because you're carrying like 300 something pounds,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's going to give you strong legs. If you have to carry your own weight, then of course you can leg press it.
Yeah, God, whenever I finally get to like get whatever this crap is in my system out, I'm definitely gonna start getting myself back in better shape again. Getting way too fat. I'm not happy about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The dating stuff is, I mean, it's kind of a shit show right now. And instead of setting all these crazy unrealistic goals to get girls who want unrealistic things, say no, fuck it. No, I'm not playing that game anymore.
Did we just prescribe MGTOW, but kind of different?
Yeah, I think maybe.
That's what it sounds like. Like, men, you need to go your own way just for a little bit. Like, we're not calling for a permanent.
It
Like,
it needs to be a massive movement though. Like it doesn't
needs
need
to be enough to make an impact. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of scale and in terms of time, to
Like
where things actually shift.
the number one thing, stop having sex with women you don't know. Like I know that sounds all beta, sex is so good. Like, look, I get it. I came up as a whore, okay?
I love this guy. At least he's one of the most honest guys I know.
Yeah, I was almost conditioned to be a whore, okay? Like every day I wish that I had a different upbringing that taught me the value of a relationship and not just getting laid. because no matter what relationship you're in, no matter how good that ass is, it's not going to build anything unless you're jumper 22 and or no jumper and letting your wife hook up with a bunch of porn stars.
Oh God. That. Wait, did you just present that as the exception? How's that the exception? That sounds sad and pathetic.
Oh no, not the exception. Just well, let's see. Damn, maybe. Well, not the exception to the rule, but like, unless you're like this guy and what you want to do is have a fruitless life, where money,
Oh, okay, yeah.
money and influence run everything.
Unless you just want to be a cuck. You'll be a
Yeah.
cuck if that's what you really want.
See, okay, look, to me, there's no way he has the same amount of respect for his wife that a dad that busts his ass every day at a.
I mean, he doesn't have any respect for himself.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
course,
you can't.
If you can't respect yourself, you can't respect your wife.
How
I mean, he obviously doesn't respect his wife if he's willing to just give her away. What do you have her for?
Well, it might not. It's not even a thing. So I don't even think he has like genuine emotional and dedicated feelings, like those deep, true love feelings. Because, but I don't know, man. Like, I wouldn't be sharing my wife. Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, how can you really say that you would go to the ends of the earth for someone and you want that someone to be your person for the rest of your life if you would just let someone have her to grift some clout and some clicks and some views? And because to me, those types of relationships, like, if a girl wanted an open relationship with me, I would be okay with that. But here's the thing. I'm not ever going to take it serious. Because that's not a serious thing you do. Like, a real relationship is something you work for together, and you work to build a future together, and you have each other's backs, and you talk to each other, and if something's wrong, you figure it out together. You don't just find some flippant thing to do to help get over the hump. Now look at Crash. He's like, "What'd you just say?" Yeah, I mean, that's something I want. That's something I'm going to talk to my kids about too. Is like what a relationship should be, not just all the fun parts of the relationship, or that relationships are always terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are terrible if you don't have a real connection to the person you're with, and you don't communicate, talk with each other, and aren't honest with each other. And yeah, relationships can be great if you base it only on sex, but it's not going to be a long lasting thing, because trust me, even that gets old after a while. And it's not even that it gets
Looking
old.
from the man horror on this podcast.
Yeah, like,
if you're gonna take it from anybody,
dude, this chick had a chick come over, and we talked for a few weeks on the phone and stuff,
Mhm.
and gotten to know each other pretty well that way. And she was from out of town, and she's like, "Hey, I want to come over." I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "I would like to stay the night." And I'm like, "Okay, but I'm not having sex with you." She's like, "Good, because I don't want to do that anyway." She came over, cooked dinner, watched a movie, and we went to bed that night. Made out a little bit, but dude, I felt so good the next day. It was ridiculous. Like, yeah. Maybe it's something where it's just an experience thing. Like, maybe you need to see, because they always say the grass is greener, right? And a lot of people who don't know certain aspects of life, they want to experience those aspects to see what it's really like. But trust me, it's not going to fix anything. It's not going to make anything better.
Sometimes the grass looks greener because it's fake.
Mm.
Be careful.
It is very true. Or the tits. Those are pretty popular and fake now. Yeah, like I don't know, man. Guys, if you're out there and dating sucks, just first, like, probably one of the biggest things about meeting women is stop trying to meet them online. Like,
Yeah, dating
find
apps I think are just the worst.
well, find local groups. Like, you can find a group for like hiking or whatever your hobby is. There's a group online for it in your area. I promise.
Facebook groups, meetup.com.
hmm There's
Uh,
all kinds of
yeah.
stuff.
Those are the two most popular. That's where you'll find the most groups. There are other apps too.
And even joining like Tim's Discord. There's people from different states that schedule meetups and stuff. Like, just find something that you have in common with someone instead of just being attracted by looks. Because if you can find someone you have something in common with, you're already way ahead of the curve. And it's not going to be as frustrating or brutal whenever things fall apart. Well, man, that might be relative because if you're really into someone, I could see how that would suck. So if it fell apart. All right, hard segue time, I guess.
Yeah, just do it hard.
Yeah. So, what is on your flagpole, Mr. Mondo?
My flagpole. What did I? Have
Let's
a list
see.
here. Oh, did you see that new Tom McDonald video?
I did. All right. Okay. Which one should we do first?
Well, I mean, I saw the new Tom McDonald one too, but
You haven't seen the new Oliver Anthony one though, have you?
no, I saved it later just because I thought, oh, this would be a good live reaction.
Yeah. It's like, to me, dude. And yes, we're on the Oliver Anthony hype train or bandwagon or whatever the hell you want to call it, but to me, it seems like he is more the soul of the country, like how regular everyday people feel.
I found out that Oliver Anthony is actually an homage to his grandfather.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his real name's Chris.
Oh, yeah. His grandfather's name was Oliver.
Yeah.
But the reason people are so attracted is because it's how a lot of people are feeling. And I think the resonance with that is the biggest thing. And the dude is humble as shit. Like, did you see the video he posted about his little introduction, part 2?
Oh, no, I have not watched those. You're talking about the nice to meet you. I saw that there were 2 videos. There's a part 1, part 2 of that. I haven't seen those yet.
So let's see.
But I saw his post where he was, and that was the whole reason why I mentioned it, was that he was scoffing at the GOP who played it at the debate. Apparently, we didn't watch that because we were watching Tucker interview Trump.
Yeah,
and he's like, it was written about them, like not just the Democrats, it was the Republicans too. Because come on, we all know now how bad they are.
Yeah, he actually talks about that a bit, and like how the people have been detracting from Richmond, north of Richmond, because of him talking about the obese milking welfare. Like, anyone with common sense knows he's not saying that poor people are the issue. It's how they're taking care of themselves and how they're ruining themselves.
Right, and it's all at the encouragement of the government because they incentivize it.
Yeah. So
Hey there.
here's just a little video.
It's August 25th, 2023.
Hey, what's up, bro?
A lot's changed since the last time I sat here and spoke to you. My friends and family have asked me how I'm doing. Everybody is wondering if I've lost my sanity yet, and I'm surprisingly calm and at peace. I don't even
See, I want to get to the part where
I think about that guy who was sitting here a few weeks ago talking to you, and the most important thing to me is not leaving him behind. You know, I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and I've tried to be polite to everybody, and I've talked to hundreds of people the last 2 weeks. It seems like certain people want to just ride the attention of the song to maybe make them their own selves relevant, and that's aggravating as hell. The other thing that I find aggravating is, well, you know, like, it was funny seeing my song in the. It was funny seeing it at the presidential debate, because it's like I wrote that song about those people, you know. So for them to have to sit there and listen to that, that cracks me up.
and that's what the fuck politicians do. They gaslight you into making you feel like they can resonate with you on your level, and they have no fucking clue what people go through. Yeah, he's super humble about that stuff, and I'll link that in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and link his channel too, to his videos, because this guy absolutely deserves every subscriber he gets. But in case you haven't heard,
because he attacked the GOP. There's some conservatives out there. I'm going to address this, and this is because there was at least one that follows me that posted something, calling him a plant because he went after the GOP, and I'm like, dude, wake up. Republicans are not, the Republican Party is not your friends. All right. He wasn't going after conservatives. He was going after the rich men north of Richmond. Republicans have never been poor north of Richmond. All right.
well, it's not just that. Like, people were saying, he's an industry plant. Like, they wrote that song for him and all this stuff, and he's a paid actor. Like, nah, you can tell by the first video, Richmond north of Richmond. If he was like if this was a plant thing, his pitch would be perfect. He would never go off key. And in that song, he goes off key a couple times. The levels wouldn't be all over the place. Like, they don't do any post-production level out. Like, everything is recorded and it's natural. And like, the timing's off a little bit, but that's not the point. Like, if he was a real plant, none of that stuff would have been in that first video.
Those little nuances are what actually give that song a bit more power.
Yeah,
honestly, because that's authentic, and you can subconsciously detect that.
Yep. And this one came out last week, I think, or this past week. And all of his songs are already on his channel too, so you can actually listen to his music. Like, one I like a whole lot is Cocaine and Cobwebs. That song is really strong. And I Gotta Get Sober. Those are both really good songs. But yeah, we'll check out I Want to Go Home by Mr. Oliver Anthony, and we'll let Crash get a listen and see what he thinks.
Well, if it weren't for my whole dogs and the good Lord, they'd
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta slow it down. I forgot I had it at 1.25. My bad, guys. My bad.
Good catch.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, this is way faster than what I thought it was. All right, here we go there. Here's the video.
Well, if it weren't for my whole dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward. 'Cause every day living in this new world is one too many days to me. Son, we're on the brink of the next world war, and I don't think nobody's praying no more. And I ain't saying I know it for sure. I'm just down on my knees begging the Lord and take me home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. There's always some kind of bill to pay. People just doing what the rich man say. I wanna go home. Now 4 generations farming the ground. Grandson sells to a man out of town. And 2 weeks later, the trees go down. Only got concrete growing around. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. People have really gone and lost their way. They all just do what the TV say. I wanna go home. If it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward.
Oh, this
I
right
love
here.
that he does that.
This right here. For what
Mhm.
shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
It's true.
And dude, I feel like that is extremely prevalent in today's society. I feel like most of the people who have become the big influencers, the big names, the big politicians, their soul, most of them, their soul is at the minimum, it's been corrupted. Like there's no way you can, especially at high levels of politicians, there's no way they would do the things they do if they had an actual soul and applied everything they do to their own personal life. And what would happen to me if, like, think about it from that perspective.
Hmm.
And one thing about the React videos I've seen for him, for Oliver, is like he, most people don't pause it a lot. And I think that shows like how much it's just plain and out there. It's just, this is what it is, and this is how a lot of people feel, and we can totally relate. There's no type of lyrical breakdown really, or any kind of hidden meaning or anything like that. Like
His
I know a
songs are
lot.
very simple
Yeah,
lyrically.
they're
Yeah, but they're poetic. They're very poetic.
hmm
Poetry
and
doesn't have to be complicated.
it's not anything like super fancy with the music. It's just 4 chords.
Mhm.
Almost all of his songs are 4 chords, and at least from what I've heard. And when you can do that, like most pop songs are usually 3 or 4 chord songs, but
Yeah,
they've
I mean,
got
if
a
you just learn those 4 chords, anybody can become at least a amateur-ish songwriter in terms of the music. It's just
Mhm.
G, D, E minor, C, and then if you want to change the key, just use a capo. You know, it's just he was actually using that capo. So
Yeah. He's got his guitar tuned 1 step down, or a half step down, because where his capo is in the videos,
Mhm.
that's not where it goes if you're in standard tuning. It's always 1 step up or a half step up. Yeah, because I was trying to play Richmond, North of Richmond. I put it on the 5th fret, and I'm like, this is not freaking right. Yeah,
Oh, so you picked your guitar back up, eh? Been playing lately?
just a little bit. Like, I need to find something to really focus on and dig in, but I've got, well, I mean, a lot of it's because I've got so much other crap going on that
Mm-hmm.
I need to get the health going again, get buckled down, get focused on stuff, get this crap out of the way, all this stuff that's been eats at my brain every day. Yeah, like there's three big things I want to get taken care of, and then like I can feel like I'm somewhat rested and relaxed again. But it's just something I got to keep pushing at. Got to keep walking. Dude, if I wasn't so freaking sick the past 2 months, I would like, oh my god, it's driving me insane. But yeah, that was I Want to Go Home by Mr. Oliver Anthony. I'll link the video in there.
Well, I'll
He's
get
got,
the. I'm gonna bring up the Tom McDonald video.
all right, I believe
Over
he
there.
has 5 songs in the top 10, at least 3.
Yeah, no, I knew it was at one point. It was definitely 4. I don't know how far this. I don't know where this one is. This last one, latest song.
Let's see. I can't remember which. It's probably iTunes.
Yeah, I think it was iTunes.
One, two, three, 4. He's got 4 in the top 10 right now. And on the songs charts.
Wow.
He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the top country songs. Like, the dude is something else, that's for sure. He's a freaking beast, and I really do relate his music to more of where the soul of the country is. Because we all do feel run down. We feel like we're building toward nothing. We feel like the politicians don't give a shit about us. We know that they're corrupt as hell, and we know that they intentionally divide us. And I mean, it's sad. It's really sad. But anyway, so you got some Tom McDonald for us, huh?
Yeah, I actually discovered Dax a few weeks back, just randomly on Instagram. Like, so I'm just like tickled to death that he's doing a collab with Tom and Adam now.
Oh,
Dude,
Dax
awesome.
has been messing around with Tom since Tom first came out.
Oh, has he?
They've got another song from years ago that they did together. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, Dax is a beast. He is.
Well, I missed it. Basically, I've missed out on him until a few weeks ago. It just showed up in my Instagram recommended. So I'm like, oh, this guy's pretty cool.
I'm gonna throw the link in there for people. Yeah, for people who don't listen to rap or like hip hop, if you don't know
Maybe
about
that's
Tom
why I
McDonald,
haven't, because when it came to rap, like I think Tom McDonald has been the only one that I've listened to in a long time. I mean, I used to be big into the '90s and early aughts hip hop scene, but
yeah,
not
that
in a
was
long
me.
time.
There is Tom's YouTube page. And here is Adam Calhoun's. And then we will get Dax. Yeah, Dax is crazy. It's crazy. There you go. There's Dax.
All
Yeah,
right.
if you want to check out some pretty good, pretty based hip hop rap, that these three guys are the ones to listen to, for sure.
All right. Here's their latest, Black and White.
Hop in the truck, 10 of my buddies are already drunk. We don't go nowhere that doesn't have liquor and cigarettes, riding mechanical bulls in the club. We like to hunt, leave with a gun. Come back tomorrow, we covered in blood with a bucket of guts. We all tougher the but we pop in the clutch, we ain't stuck in the mud. I'm the white boy with the baseball bat, but your face tattoos and a NASCAR hat in a backyard like Strap Yard. Got a glass jar full of tobacco that's blacker than asphalt. Rolling with hundreds of crackers who acting like animals, they cannot handle their alcohol. We the white boys from the backwoods and the bad hoods and the trailer park trash hat pack guns. When I was younger, they taught me to struggle and hustle like 200 bikers, and they were my brothers. We coming for blood and you running for cover. Addicted to drugs in the gutter and drunker than anyone leaving the club. We go dumber than thugs. We got mullets and putters and multiple gunners that come in Hummers. You under the rubber, you'll never recover. Chain smoking, my lungs hurt, my neck red, got sunburns, bumping Eminem, we all know the words. Bunch of white boys flipping heather birds. Hillbilly really don't care if you like them. Little bit of moonshine fire inside them. Kill him in a minute, don't care who's fighting. You don't want to trip on the kids of Vikings. Camo and mullets and cowboy hats out in public. Got ammo stashed at my cousins and catching addicts and covered. They all diss and we don't listen, can't hear it no more. We gone fishing, they gone missing. I told y'all before. I be on some white people hanging out the window of a truck, yelling, I don't give a white people. Every time they see me pulling up, they be like, oh my God, he be on some white people. Jumping out the plane, no parachute, so I'ma get the sooner. I ain't learned from school, always ditch Ferris Bueller. Screw your little truck, my square body over there's cooler. Every white boy riding with me over there. Shooters, I'm the white boy with the monster pump. Send shotgun with a pop the truck. The northern I'm so off the jump. I'm up, I rock a lots of guns. This ain't soccer, but watch them run. Shoot them in the lung, need oxygen. Huffing blood like he up and does. Talk too much till it's coughing shuts. I'm never gonna back up too much ammo. We got hammered, used to battle. Had my fights right on the gravel. Back in the day, we used to handle like men, but now we're canceled. Look at us like states on cancel. Look at them like pull your pants on. Dumbass kids ain't got no answer. Looked up to dudes with tattoos and rap views and bad moves and abuse in my past acting stupid. I used to
Pause it right there.
the gas to keep moving.
So if anyone is an old Eminem head, you should recognize that flow.
Oh, which one is it? Golly, I have not listened to Eminem in over a decade. I do recognize
I
it.
I am.
Hmm?
The I am whatever you say I am.
I feel like I need to bring this back up.
Yeah. Yeah, trust me. You'll go back and listen to it and listen to the flow. You'll know exactly where you got that part from.
Okay.
I made it where I'm at, now you rather see me losing. All my guys got tattoos on their face, they did that time they got jammed. What the hell's a blue check? They ain't got no Instagram. Ask around, everyone knows. They might think that I care, but I don't. I'll be out some white people hanging out the window of a truck, yelling, I don't give a white people. Every time they see me pulling up, they be like, oh my God, he be on some white people. Yes, segregated, but I'm still in the mix. I've been with Timer before he got canceled for speaking the truth about the world and exposing it for what it actually is. I see race as an issue, I'm running it back to the government to tell them this is a democratic, liberated, conservative, patriarchy dipped in action, affirmative hit song. Bet they still cut me a check. State that I'm in as my mind is way deeper than color. I ain't think I'm blue versus red. I'm in control, consider that I'm carrying more than you know. One in the chamber that's ready to blow. Right at you pussies who claiming you won't. I'ma keep praying that you get exposed. I promise. I'm not abiding by rule that you set for me. I'm not that mad at the past. I mean, it was only a couple of centuries. Well, actually, I'm pissed, but won't let that be my identity. So on behalf of all blacks, I forgive and don't want to be enemies. Just say you're sorry and talk to me nice. This is comedic. If you get offended, that's a reflection of your own life and how you failed to live it right. So it's not black versus white, it's wrong versus right. Cause color is just a result of these multiple factors that we didn't choose. I mean, mom, dad, race, religion, things we're born into. Generational curses that get undone once we undo moves. See life from a different view beyond our own skewed, manipulated by the news. Crude, true things they use to confuse the masses. Put us in social classes, separated by percentages, paid for taxes, income brackets, clothes, cars, shoes, size of asses. I bet they're trying to blackmail me once I black out all these demographics and push past the stereotypical average and get blackballed and they cut all my traffic. Oh my God, he be on some black people hanging out the window of the trunk, screaming, I don't give a black people. Every time they see me pulling up, they be like, oh my God, he
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah, that was a nasty song, and
Yeah.
I know some people might not be able to like hear the words very well because I know, especially people who never got into hip hop or anything like that, like it can be difficult, especially when people are speed rapping like that. But
Yeah. God. Remember Bone
um,
Thugs and Harmony?
oh god, yeah, Crossroads, man, Crossroads. I started listening to a lot of old Busta Rhymes, and I thought Busta Rhymes was, which he was fast back in the day, but compared to some of the shit that comes out now, like Eminem and Rap God, like, dude. Um, I heard Eminem was throwing some shade at Tom McDonald. Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear that the details specifically. j- I think I saw something on Twitter.
Let's see. It was let's see. I can't find. Trying to find a. Hmm. Yeah, I can't find the lyric. It's and I mean that. I don't know, man. It's pretty shitty considering how much Tom like idolized Eminem
Mhm.
growing up too. I
He
mean, he
was literally
spent
wearing an Eminem shirt in that video.
yeah, and I think he spent wasn't it 100,000 on that tribute video he did to Stan?
I don't know.
I think he spent 100,000 on the beat because he
Wow.
bought it from Eminem.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
I don't know, man. I'm nowhere near this as big of a Eminem fan as I used to be because he just seems like an industry
Yeah.
Democrat fuckhead now. But
So many
I
of
mean,
them are.
that's what happens, right? Um, I've been I've been watching a lot of little documentaries on how rap was back then, back in the 90s and early 2000s, and even
Mhm.
before then in the early 80s or late 80s, and how ruthless it was because like a lot of the guys back then, they were actually they lived in the ghettos, they came up in the projects, and like nearly all of them were in gangs and they did
Mhm.
gang shit. And like DMX, one of his last interviews, they're like, "What happened to you?" And I didn't know this. When Jay Z became the what was it? Um, I can't remember what label he bought and he became the owner of, but it was the same one DMX was on. And then Jay Z retired. He bought the label. Told DMX did a whole album, did music videos, everything, never released. And J- DMX figured it out. He's like, yeah, he didn't want the competition there
Mm.
because DMX was he was a good fucking rapper, dude.
Yeah.
can freestyle like a motherfucker too. And that's how it was though. A lot of that shit, that's how it was. Like who's another one? Well, like Suge Knight. Whenever was it Death Row Records that he had? I can't remember if it was Death Row or a different one. Puff Daddy, he's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And backstabbing and living off of accolades and stuff like that. And yeah, dude, it was dirty. It was really, 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 really dirty. And I think like seeing people like Tom and Dax and Adam Calhoun and Oliver Anthony and all the independent artists that are starting to pop up now, that is so much more, to me, that's so much more powerful than some label just pushing out a song.
Yeah.
Because labels buy distribution rights and the distributors have to push it in certain markets or on certain stations or on certain charts or certain playlists or something like that. And like this independent thing is freaking ridiculously huge. And
Power of the free market.
well, I think that's going to be the big cultural thing that
Yeah.
brings the next big change. I think that's going to be the revolution part of what's coming up. And
there's this misconception that libertarians like monopolies, and it's like, no, because monopolies are just they become kind of their own form of government. They restrict the market that they're in, and to to keep competition out so that they can control prices, supply, whatever they need to maintain their own power. It's just like, no, we like free and open, competitive markets. And the biggest purveyor of monopolies is the government. The government are the ones that create the monopolies. And is there a risk in a free and open market of one company taking over an industry? Yes, but you have more power in a free market to actually combat that. Because now you don't have corporal fascism like we do now, where they team up with the legislatures, write these rules to restrict you coming into the market. No, all they do is just try to be manipulative in their marketing, or they can try to price you out of the market, or they have to resort to different kind of tactics, which are a lot easier to fight than fighting the government when the government is on their side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the tax code, like Donald Trump said.
Exactly.
When Hillary was trying to give him shit about not paying taxes, he's like, "Yeah, I didn't, and it's because of people like you who write the tax code the way they do, so that you and your donor friends can take advantage of it." He's like, "If you want me to pay more taxes, change the law." And I mean, that's another big thing about Donald Trump. Like, I think he's a little bit behind. Like we were talking the other night, he's a little behind on the actual popular cultural issues.
Yeah.
And I think he's got to get caught up on that stuff, because nobody in the right mind thinks Epstein killed himself. Like, it's not even feasible given the type of isolation he was in.
Right.
Hung himself with like, what was it? Said he hung himself with bed sheets, but those bed sheets are specifically made to tear easily, to where you can't hang yourself.
Exactly.
His hyoid was cracked in like 5 different places,
and he did it like
while guards were asleep.
Well, yeah,
cameras
and then
were out.
Crowder did an experiment with that, right? You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he tried to simulate how allegedly Mr. Epstein would have killed himself, and it's just like, you just watch the video of what Crowder was doing. It's just like, it's just absolutely ridiculous, because there was no place for him to actually hang from. He would have had to tie it to his bedpost and just lean into it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's no way that was going to work. And then, of course, yeah, again, the guards were asleep. Nah, it'd be nice if one of those guards would actually But I mean, I'm willing to bet that they know that their lives would be in danger if they tried to whistle blow. But
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
But-
the thing. Like,
those guys know something.
it's all to enrich them. It's all for their benefit because we plebeians are not worthy or smart enough or emotionally stable enough to handle the truth. And the funny thing is, we know the truth.
Right, we came
And,
to the right. We found the truth anyway.
like, they're not they're not conspiracy theories anymore. They're just early release.
it's
They're like beta tests of the truth.
They're not even. I mean, it doesn't feel like they even hide it anymore.
No, they don't.
They just kind of.
I mean, for fuck's sake.
Everything is just in the open.
They don't know whose coke was in the White House. Come on, man.
Yeah.
One of the most secure buildings on the planet, and with Secret Service everywhere.
I mean, it's like they know they're lying. We know they're lying. They know that we know that they're lying, and then they just still lie.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
Revolution time, baby. Yeah, I don't. Next year, the end of this year and next year is going to be fucking nuts.
I'm. Yeah, 24 is gonna. Well, it'll be interesting. It will not be boring. It's an election year. Election years are never boring.
I'm wondering what's going to happen with BRICS, because that's a big fucking issue for us,
Mm-hmm.
and not just as a country, but as regular people. Because once they get the gold standard going again, and Saudi Arabia is already dealing it in other denominations now. It's not just the petrodollar.
Your dollar ain't shit.
Mm-mm. Not with the current backing it has, no.
Which is absolutely nothing.
Yep. Fiat is falling off, people. It's gonna go bye-bye.
For anybody who doesn't know what the word fiat means, it's by decree. Fiat currency is literally given its value by the decree of the government.
Yeah, fiat means faith in a thing.
Yep.
So, and that's what the Federal Reserve is full of right now. A whole lot of faith that the American people won't rise up. And that's about it. And that we can keep just running over other third worlds for resources.
Yep. All right. What was next on the list?
Rippaverse.
Rippaverse. I read ISOM 2 today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to finish it. I couldn't take a break, and I'm mad at you because I want to do a spoiler review. Need to read it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm about to buy you a I'm about to buy you a cover C. Like, you want to just give me your address? I'll send you one.
Oh, I just gotta get a couple things taken care of. Like,
Okay.
Crash has been kicking me in the balls because we're both real big on what Eric July is doing with Rippaverse and his comic and stuff. And I've got the A, B, and C covers of both releases, but I haven't bought an extra copy to read for myself yet. And I don't want to open the ones I have. The only thing I'm waiting on is cover D. I'm waiting on cover D to come in. I don't know when. Do you know when are they going to ship that out?
I mean, they're just doing it in order.
Well,
So I think they just finished with day 7 of orders. I mean, yeah, so it might be a while. I don't remember when they released cover D. It took a couple weeks, I thought.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks before cover D came out.
Yeah, I didn't get a cover D, but that's going to be his mass print anyways. I figured I could always get one later.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is D going to be the mass print?
Yeah, cover D is the mass print. But he did offer a CGC series on it. So like the graded and signed and graded rather, encapsulated. But I just went ahead and passed on that because I mean, like, I already bought everything else in the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Like
Well,
I
I
said,
realized that like I didn't need to, because I bought A, B, and C, and I bought extras of A, B, and C, and I'm just like, no, I should have just gotten the CGC of A, B, and C, and then just bought the extra cover for my reading, whichever one I wanted, and that would have been smarter. But I mean, on the day of, and because the site keeps crashing, because we always, what do you call it? Surprise them with how much demand there is.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm not letting it escape. So I just, I always just opt for the I want it all package. Didn't really give it much thought.
Because he did he break 2.3 yet? 2.3 million.
I don't think so. He's got. I don't think he did. I'd have to.
He made, guys. Eric made over 3 million on his first release, and he made over 2 million on his second release. Like that. That is ridiculous for an independent.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane.
Comic maker competing against the likes of DC and Marvel. It is.
He's almost got 20. He's got over 1,900. Oh, he's one away from 19,600 purchasers. But yeah, closing in on 20,000 purchasers.
Damn, man. Yeah, like it's one of my down the road goals is being at an event, being able to get Eric to sign it in person, and then I'll get it graded.
We'll have to make. Well, yeah, I need to get my ISOM 1 stuff graded and encapsulated.
Mm-hmm.
But that takes effort. Anyway, what we were actually going to talk about was this lawsuit, which I think, from what I understand, was filed but not served because they've gotten in touch. They're just trying to work it out amicably. Do they have a case? I mean,
So,
ignoring the fact that ignoring the detractors that kind of egged them on trying to file this trademark lawsuit, which I'm like, how could I ever have a case? Because it's like there's nothing even remotely the same other than the 4 letters, and theirs is an acronym.
So you're gonna have to explain what. So I knew there was a lawsuit. I didn't know what it was about.
Yeah. So I don't remember what they were called, but it's essentially some sort of like church charity. I don't remember what it stands for, but the M stands for ministry. So it's International something of Ministry or whatever. So apparently they've trademarked the name ISOM, or the acronym ISOM. And somebody, or rather a few people, have kind of played this game where they convinced them that Eric was ripping off the name for the ISOM character in the comic book. And I mean, just you got to watch the videos on Eric's channel. It's really wild. And from what he says like, this, we haven't even shown you like a tenth of the receipts that we have. And it seems that suspicion has fallen on Mr. Small Dick Masterson and Pego Vito. And I mean, the receipt, I mean, it's not like 100%, like you could perhaps have reasonable doubt, but I'm going to tell you right now, in civil court, reasonable doubt doesn't get you off the hook. It's the preponderance of evidence. So to some degree, they've tried to distance themselves from it, saying like it was just a fan. And I'm like, I think you're going to have trouble once Eric starts coming for you. But he has said that he is not, he just wants to do one thing at a time. He's just settling it with the other party, with this charity group or whatever. They're talking out what happened, but they're also like gathering evidence because, and I think that's what the detractors have missed. It's like they're acting like there's like they're acting like there's some animosity between these 2 organizations now, and it's like, no. Eric says he has the full email chain, and they're not in court, so that's not discovery. That they weren't forced to submit that to them. They sent that willingly.
Yeah.
So that tells me that they are cooperating with each other.
Yeah, well,
So don't expect this ministry to be on the side of the detractors. You detractors that think that they're gonna go to bat for you, and I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they're going to show all the evidence, everything that happened, and just kind of be transparent. And uh, there's gonna be trouble for those who are truly responsible for what happened, because I'm no law expert, so I don't know what it would qualify as, but uh
it would seem like something like that would. Uh, I want to say Rico, but
like it's
if
not necessarily
the International School of Ministry is not involved with it, they were just like a secondhand victim to whoever was actually planning it, then it's not an organizational thing.
right. And then it's kind of weird because you can't call it like a trademark fraud, because the detractors that were egging this on or trying to make this happen were not necessarily claiming the trademark for themselves. They were just kind of baiting somebody else into it. So that's where I'm like kind of confused. I'm like, okay, so what is their legal liability for what they've done?
Well, and one thing I
yeah.
don't understand is like the ministries thing. It's an acronym. It's not a name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's International School of Ministry. It's not the
Well,
the
one of
name
the things that
the.
these detractors have done is they've tried to paint ISOM as some sort of like Christian warrior fighting against like demons or something, and it's like, no, this
Well,
is
even
well, that's what they try to do to kind of propose to this ministry that, oh, this character was ripped off of your idea for a name or whatever. Like that's what the ISOM stands for. It's like, no, it's nothing
yeah,
related.
that's nothing related at all. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing near any kind of copyright or trademark infringement there, because one, ISOM is the character is not a school of ministry.
Yeah.
ISOM, the comic book, has no relation to the International School of Ministry, and it's also definitely not interfering with their market.
If anything, it might be helping their market
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
point.
Like, a
Like that's gonna
comic.
be the funny part, is just like how much is the International School of Ministry going to gain from this?
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure they're just the recognition that they're getting now is going to be beneficial to them in the long run, as long as they're not dickholes about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said, I'm halfway speculating just based on what Eric has said, but like none of us are sitting in those conversations that they're having, I assume, over the phone about this issue, or that their lawyers are having.
Yeah, I don't. I see someone else getting in a lot of trouble for this,
Yeah.
because yeah, I get if they can prove that it was used for malicious intent to start the lawsuit, then yeah, it's going to be somebody's probably going to see some jail time.
Exactly. I'm just
don't
not
know,
familiar
it's-
with what the law where that would fall. I mean, it's kind of a fraud, but
Mm,
maybe
it's got to be some kind of duping scheme, whatever that would fall under. But what state is it out of? Is it in Texas, or
I
would
don't
get?
know. I'd have to
I
look.
guess it's
I'd
where
have
the
to look them
International
up.
School of Ministry is located. I think
Yeah, because
they're.
they'd be the ones filing.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily. You're not necessarily prohibited from filing within the state of the party that you're suing. Also, I don't think. And patent and trademark's actually a federal thing, because that's managed by the government. So I do not know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's out of. It's going to depend on the state more than likely as to whether anyone's going to get in serious trouble for it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people do, man. That is what people do.
Well, anyway, it's fun to watch. I've stopped. Well, I mean, I haven't interacted with any of his detractors in like a long time, so I don't bother. I've actually just started blocking them. They're so boring at this point. Like,
Sorry, somebody replied to the tweet about the show tonight, and I have no idea who this person is, but he's like, I'm flattered, but you're not my type. Like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
wait, what?
Yeah. Max Powers?
Science
it's-
fiction author, eh?
Yeah, Arthur
Trying to build
T.
up the courage to
Paul.
publish. Hold on. So, what did you say? I don't know. That's weird. Maybe,
I didn't say anything. I just posted about the show tonight, and he replied. Like he I don't even follow this guy. Like,
he doesn't
what
follow
the hell?
either of us either. So maybe it's just a bot. Could be a
Yeah,
bot.
maybe.
Look at the profile.
Oh no, he's a hater.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Is he one of your haters? I've
Wait a
never
minute.
interacted with him.
Cause well, I saw something about Hills versus Babyface. I don't know.
I mean, I see him reposting D-Day Cobra.
Hmm.
I mean, I know that people's retweets aren't always like an endorsement, but for that one, it's about a team. Well, no, he quote tweeted, he said, "Do better, Team YouTube." So maybe he just floats around the membership. Maybe he was trying to make a joke, or maybe was he responding to the other person that was responding underneath that asked for a follow back on? Did you see that? I did follow back because I'm like, whatever. Maybe it was meant to be a response to this person, Jay Simone.
Maybe. That might be it. Kindly follow back, please. What? I don't. That you're a bot account. Why would I follow back? Dude, it's crazy how many bots follow me on Twitter.
I mean, there's I think a third of my, at least third to half of my 172 followers are bots.
Yeah.
I actually went through and just kind of blocked like 50 of them not that long ago because I was just like, I'm just gonna clean up some of the ones that I know are bots or stock accounts.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are weird. It's all good.
Okay. So, does anyone want to hear about my funny hospital story from the other night?
Well, you seem very excited to talk about it, so please.
It's story time, and you guys are gonna think I'm either crazy or laugh your ass off. But so I went to the ER a few days ago because I still had trouble with my stomach, still really tired, blah blah blah. I had to wait like 7 hours to be seen, or I think it was 5 hours, 5.5, something like that. But toward the end, like when they were running fluids and stuff, the lady came in and she's like, "I'm gonna give you some Phenagrin," and that's like it's a fairly strong anti-nausea medicine, and but it can make you sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've had it before. I know what it does. Like I would take it before bed if my stomach was upset because it would knock you out, or at least help you get to sleep. Well, I've never had it in IV form, and I was just thinking like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get this finger. I'm probably gonna get a little bit sleepy and probably take a nap. Nah, nope. because my stomach was still hurting, so laying down wasn't working. So I was up and I was walking around because my stomach was hurting, and I started to trip out, like tripping balls, tripping out. Like I was dreaming while wide awake, walking around the hospital room. Like
Oh my gosh.
she had the light turned off, and I looked down at the floor, and mind you, it's a hospital floor. It's just white tile, right?
Yeah.
And I'm
Should be
not
anyways.
kidding. Like I could see glow in the dark writing all over the floor, and I could read it. I could read what it was saying, and I could see a full step down to the end of the room. And I'm sitting there, and in my head, I'm like, the floor is flat. This is not a step. And I stepped on where the step was supposed to be, and of course, it was flat. And at one point, I thought I saw like a wrapper from a soda bottle or something in the floor, and I was trying to grab it with my foot, and I was like, "This isn't real. What are you doing?" And then all of a sudden, I put my right foot on it, and it shot under my left foot, and then it was like my right foot was trying to get it back from my left foot, so my right foot went after it, and my left foot did like that, and it disappeared. And I swear to God, I was sitting there and I thought, "Holy shit! I just magicianed myself." It's pretty bad. Like I've never had that reaction though. Like it was. I imagine that's what people who do, like, go on acid trips, like the trippy shit. I imagine that's what it
Mhm.
was like. Only I
Mhm.
still had full faculty of what was going on and realized, okay, this ain't real.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's because it was dark or what. That's probably what it was. It was, but another something else that it did too though is my the part of my brain that makes me not do the things that I'm thinking about doing and want to do, it completely turned that off. So before I left, I had already undone the IV. Uh, yeah, and I had it. I was ready to get. I was like, I'm ready to go. Like the bag that they had to pump the saline, they put it on a pump bag instead of
Mhm.
the machine. And every time it slowed down, it was over pumping it up, making it go faster. Like I got 2,000 milliliters of fluid in about 20 minutes. And the machines run those bags at 2,000 an hour, or it might have been 1,000. But yeah, it got done real fast. And as soon as it was done, I unhooked the IV, put it up, and I started taking the tape off. And I walked outside. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. And she's like, you need to go back in your room. Well, I'm sitting there and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, and this other nurse comes in. She's like, "Oh, you ready to go?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I told her, I was like, I was getting ready to pull it out because I know what to do.
Let's switch. Never mind. Phrasing.
I was getting ready to pull it out because, like, I used to do IVs all the time in Nuke Med, and I was just like, whenever she saw me, I was like, okay, I better not. There's probably some legal liability. And I told her, and so I was like, yeah, I was getting ready to do it, but I didn't want to get everybody in trouble. She's like, oh, it's all right. People rip them out and throw them at us every day. Okay, yeah, yeah. That was definitely a weird experience. It was
How long
really
did the
weird.
trip last? Or do you
About 30,
recall?
about 30 minutes.
Hmm.
It's the whole time that bag was running. And it had to have been when the lights, because when the lights were on and everything, I was fine. Like I still had the inner monologue is not shutting down or enter like the inner actions that you want to take, you know.
Hmm.
But honestly, I kind of like that too, like the not being inhibited by what I want to do. As long as I, not like I can just go crazy or anything, but it's just like just being pure, flat, frank. This is what I'm doing. This is what I think. I think we need more of that in the world, honestly. Especially with all the bull crap that's going on with body positivity and
Oh my gosh.
race, is all the isms, whatever isms you want to throw in there.
Isms and phobias and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Maybe I did, but yeah, homophobia is not a thing for 99% of the population. Like, because people aren't scared to death of gay people. That's what a phobia is. You have a literal fear of that thing, and that's just not a thing for most of society and regular people.
I'd say all of society. You have people who hate gay people. That exists.
Yes, that is not
but
phobia.
There ain't. I don't believe that there's a. I want to. If there is a literal, actual homophobic person out there, please reach out to me. I want to interview you.
Oh, that would be
that'd be interesting.
Yeah. See,
gay, run away!
People don't do that. That's not what people do. It's God. Like, I'm not scared of my gay friends. I'm just worried that they'll do something to me if I pass out around them. That's two different things.
Yeah, I saw a prank on Twitter that I was just like, oh, that guy's gonna get killed. Where he, somebody else, the guy who's filming, drops some water on the guy's mouth. He's asleep, right? And then as he's waking up, the other guy who's like standing right there is zipping up his pants.
Yeah, I've seen that before. Dude. Have you seen the one where the guy's riding the escalator and he rubs the arms of the guys going by him?
Yeah. Wasn't there one time where a guy pulled him over to the other side and was getting ready to assault? I mean, that kind of is an assault, but was getting ready to kind of beat him up. I feel like I've seen that where one guy kind of took it personally and actually pulled him over.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, it's just a prank. See this, and points to the camera. I'm like, well, no, that's right. It wasn't because of him rubbing on another guy's arm. It was because he's done another one, and I'm sure they've done it both several times. But he's done another prank where he's rubbing up on girls' arms, and it was the girl's boyfriend got defensive. We'll say.
Yeah, but it's funny whenever it's vice versa, and the girls are rubbing on the guys' arms when they're with their girlfriends. Mm-hmm. Like, some of those are pretty funny because like smoking hot chick and this dude's with his chick who's not as smoking hot, and the dudes they're just like like watching it go up the escalator and they get smacked. Oh man. Well, chat, what do you guys got going on? You got anything on your mind? Like, I think we've talked about everything, haven't we?
I think so. I'm going back to my list. Let's see. Talked about Trump, Oliver Anthony, Republicans, Tom McDonald video, Ripperverse.
So I will make this prediction about the Republican nomination for or whoever gets it. And this is super black pill, but to me, the RNC is not going to let Donald Trump get the nomination. Neither the RNC or the establishment. Vivek and RFK, they're just not. They're never going to let them get to the next step. I think they're going to force DeSantis to be the nominee.
You think they'll just try to force delegations to override the primary voters,
Wait,
or at
what?
least in the states where they can.
Sauce? Can I get some sauce on that? Let's see.
And there's another travesty. I guess Z looking for books for her young nephew. The gay ABCs is the first search result. That's stupid.
Yeah,
Sorry,
don't look online for books for your kids, because that's all you'll get is bullshit like that. Let's see. Is
it's
it
like,
the Dagan William Tyler?
oh, if you scroll down a little bit more, there's a repost from Cat Turd, Gateway Pundit article.
Okay. Yeah, so let's check this out. Grieving mother desperate for answers after FBI busts down door, fatally shoots her disabled veteran son in pre-dawn raid. Dude. Family is desperately seeking answers after FBI agents busted down the door and killed their relative in a pre-dawn raid last week. FBI is refusing to tell a grieving mother why they showed up in armored vehicles at 6 a.m. According to WBBJ, FBI agents showed up at a residence in Henderson, Tennessee to serve a man named Theodore Dashler and arrest warrant when things turned deadly. To serve Theodore Dashler with an arrest warrant when things turned deadly. Woke up at 6 o'clock, heard a loud bang, a couple more.
Why are no knock raids still a thing?
I thought Rand Paul got legislation to ban those.
I don't know.
Wasn't it the Breonna Taylor Act? Isn't that the name of the girl?
Is that passed? Yeah, that was Breonna Taylor was the one that was spurring that movement along.
Let's see.
I am getting tired of law enforcement not being held accountable.
Yep. It's been introduced to the Senate. That's it. And the
So it's just
judiciary.
sitting somewhere. Okay, because that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Breonna Taylor was 2020, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it was at least 2 or 3 years ago. Or was it before then?
Was it pre-pandemic?
I don't know. I can't remember. It was definitely when Trump was still in. I know that.
Yes.
Because that was just another ism instance.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's one thing that drives me crazy too, all these false narratives about these reports. Like what's his name? Tim talks about Ahmaud Arbery all the time. And what a lot of people miss in that is that the judge changed the law from the bench on jury instruction, because trespassing is a felony in Georgia, or it was. I don't know if it's still. I know they changed the laws on that, and they definitely changed the citizens arrest law. But at the time, if you were suspected of a felony, you did not need reasonable, or all you needed was reasonable doubt. You didn't have to be a count to the
Or
crime.
you needed reasonable suspicion
Yeah,
to
to pursue for a citizen's arrest. And the judge took that portion that you only
or
need
he wrote an interpretation basically that
Oh, no,
nullified their entire defense.
No, and well, that's what I'm saying. In the instruction, he left off the latter portion of it that said you could pursue without being first-hand witness. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look at it, but he left off the last half of the sentence, and yeah, it completely shattered the citizen's arrest clause that they should have. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Effectively, what he came to was that the judges their jury instructions made it sound like that you had no right to pursue someone who just committed a crime, or that you have suspicion committed a crime.
Yeah.
In Georgia.
I mean,
but at the time, you did if it was a felony and if your suspicion was reasonable.
Yeah, and this wasn't just no, we think this guy's doing it. There was video evidence. The McDaniels were going around with the police, passing out what do you call it? Flyers with with pictures of him on it where he'd done it before. Like, he was on camera, he was caught doing it, and I mean, it really sucks. It really does. But they practically guaranteed a guilty verdict by doing that.
Yeah, because every action after that is then rendered illegal, and then the way that the Georgia laws worked was that the felony homicide just falls on top of it, where if you commit one crime, you committed that crime, and then if it resulted in the death of that person, then they tack on another charge of like felony murder, and it just all it's there for is so they can tack on like a longer sentence, and so when they went to chase him down, and confront him, because they had guns, they called it false imprisonment at that point, and then and then everything after that is just like it's felony assault. Your self-defense gets thrown out the window.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a total of like 6 charges on the McDaniels themselves, I think, because it was 3 different charges and then felony murder for each of those tacked on.
Yeah, I think they should be released on appeal, especially the guy who videotaped it. He didn't even do anything. He just videotaped it. Got life in prison.
Yeah.
Like, come the fuck on, man.
He made some errors in the not getting his case separated. That's more of a kind of a tactical error in the courtroom, by tacking his case on with the others. It kind of that's partially what doomed him. I think if he had, I don't remember if the judge rejected it or if they just didn't file for like a separation or not. I don't remember. It's been a while. I did watch most of that trial. Nate the lawyer was covering it in depth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just Tim always leaves that part out, and there's other argument to it too. Like, why did he go around the back of the truck and then charge the guy with the gun? Like, the guy wasn't pointing the gun at him; he just had it on him. And if I'm not mistaken, the reason that they were armed is because one of their guns had been stolen about 2 weeks before that, and they had reported it.
Well, you don't need a reason to be armed, though. That part should never matter. The only thing that would have, like, what the judge did kind of just throws out everything. Now, if they didn't do that, then at least you could like properly adjudicate the case, and the question would then just come in like, okay, did the son point the gun first, or was it in response? That's really all it is who's the aggressor.
It was it was definitely in response, because he had it up and high ready until he charged him.
Until he charged. Okay.
Yeah, because when he charged him, that's when the barrel actually started coming down, and he started pulling it, and that's when the gun went off.
Oh, it went off in the struggle. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. He
Okay.
never shot at him before that. Never, didn't even point the gun at him. Like, they're just like,
because
hey,
I remember in his testimony, and I think that his defense lawyers didn't do a great job of painting that story properly. Because what the prosecutors did was kind of slow it down and make it sound like it was basically they took away Ahmaud Arbery as being a threat. I just remember watching that testimony and thinking he's going to get himself in trouble the way that this is coming across, because it sounded like Ahmaud Arbery wasn't charging at him; he was just moving towards him, but not aggressively.
No,
and then he admitted, yeah. Then at that point, he pointed the gun at Arbery. But like, if you tell this, if you tell it that way, where it's like, no, he was actually running at him, that's entirely different. It's a stand your ground issue.
Yeah, he let's see. Let's see if it's got it. Yeah, so check this out. So there he is at the back of the truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch, he runs all the way around.
Oh. I actually never saw this video. I think I missed that day on the trial when they did that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's literally the same thing as a Rittenhouse thing. Like, Rittenhouse fired at Joseph Rosenbaum because when he reached for the gun, it fired in the struggle, or he fired in the struggle. He pulled the trigger when he grabbed the gun.
Well, you might be able to make an argument that he shot when he was running toward him, because if you watch the timing, like, I guess it depends on.
Matter. Like,
that
is a full-out sprint, and he's running towards him. That is a threat.
And if
like,
they really,
the only way that you can make the opposite case there is if you could prove that he pointed the gun first, and then Ahmaud Arbery decided to go at him because he thought he was going to die, but there's no evidence of that. I mean, that's certainly enough to prove to have reasonable doubt. But again, like, when you throw out the
so like, they're not pointing the gun at him at all. I don't know. I can't see very well.
I mean, it's kind of hard because the guy's driving, and
yeah.
Why is this guy in jail? Like, the guy who recorded,
Yeah, that's a bit too much. It's a whole lot fucking too much. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, depending on where he was standing, the first shot could have went off when he charged, because he could have been standing toward the middle of the truck, because it looked like whenever Arbery went back around to the right side, he probably walked over toward the right side of the front of the truck, and but that, I don't even think that first shot hit him.
Didn't look like it.
Let's see. We can find that out real quick.
What I didn't see was, or I don't recall seeing, was Andrew Branca's analysis of that case. I don't know if he covered it at all.
It said the first shot hit him in the wrist and side of his chest and broke some ribs. And the second shot missed entirely. So he must have shot whenever he rushed him. But at that
Mhm.
point, I'm sorry, that's self-defense. Someone's
I mean,
charging for your gun.
that's literally what stand your ground is that if somebody charges at you, you have the right to stand your ground.
Mm.
You do not have to retreat.
Depending on your state.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have that in Florida. But again, that gets thrown out the window if just to kind of clarify, if you're in the middle of committing a felony yourself, which is what the judge's actions basically did, was it's basically declared their actions leading up to that already a felony.
Yeah, because Georgia's got stand your ground law. It says person who uses threat or force relating to the use of force in defense of self, others, habitation, or other property has no duty to retreat and has the right to stand his or her ground and use force, including deadly force.
Yep.
So,
hail, Willie. It's good to see you.
What's up, Willie? Do. Yep. Imagine the judicial structure breaking down due to a corruption and mob mentality.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's amazing that Kyle Rittenhouse got acquitted.
100%. I guarantee.
I mean, I really do think that was a miracle, honestly.
Okay, I think, given the history of what's happened, the only reason one of the big reasons he got off is because they couldn't prove. Like originally the narrative was he shot black BLM protesters.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some people who still say he killed black people. And I don't know how it would have turned out if one of those people had actually turned out to be a black person.
There was one actually black person, but that the one shot that he missed was the black guy.
Yeah.
The one who drop kicked him before before Grosskreutz came up. Yeah, because it was Huber hit him in the back of the head with the skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think right behind him was this black guy. I don't think he's been identified, or at least not publicly. They may know who he is. Comes across when you see on one camera angle, he comes across and does like this flying drop kick on Kyle Rittenhouse. I think he connected, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
he did. I do believe he fired a shot and it missed that guy. And then Grosskreutz was the one right behind him. Tried to pulled his weapon. And
then acted like he was going to put it away, and then started to redraw.
Yeah, pretended to surrender, and then tried to,
And then he got his bicep worked out real good.
Yeah, he no longer has a right to bear arms. He's got a left.
Yeah. Oh man, I met a guy. His buddies with my cousin. His right arm engine fell on the back of his arm and just completely sheared off his tricep. Dude, brutal looking. Oh well, hell. I guess we're gonna wrap it up. Hey, we got 8 on Rumble. Indeed. What is up, Rumble? Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Yeah. Hold on. I wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah, man.
Jury nullification, if you end up on a jury, is one of your most powerful weapons as a people. You have the power to send an innocent person back home instead of to jail. Even if what they did was against the law, if it's a bad law, you can vote however you want. They can't force you to vote in favor of the law. No. So by all means, I think people don't take jury duty seriously enough, but it's one of our most powerful weapons for fighting back against a corrupt judicial system, because ultimately juries are the ones who determine guilt and innocence from a legal standpoint.
Yeah. Well,
and if a law is immoral, send that kid home.
That requires you to have principles, though.
It does. It does.
And in the big cities, those are
But-
bye-bye.
I mean, there were people in was it Kenosha? Well, hold on. Where was the trial in Kenosha also, or did they move it for Rittenhouse?
Let's see.
No, do not remember.
Da, 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 da. Let's see.
Because remember, it has to be a unanimous decision with a jury. At the very least, you can cause a mistrial because of a hung jury, and you at least buy time for an innocent person.
Yeah,
At
it's
a minimum.
Kenosha. It's Kenosha
Okay.
County.
I mean, granted, Kenosha is not a big city, so
Yeah.
that helps.
He crossed state lines. Oh my god. Have you ever seen that supercut by Actual Justice Warrior?
Yes,
It is
it's
hilarious.
hilarious. Yeah, he does good work.
Yeah, he does. I like watching him sometimes. Well, guys, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. Let you guys get on with your Saturday nights and go enjoy yourself a little bit.
Indeed, weekend's only about half over. You still got all of Sunday.
Yeah.
Go to church tomorrow, people. Go repent to God, and then start your week off right.
And I don't know. I might go do something. I don't know. Probably not. Like, I've got a little energy, but not enough to want to go do anything crazy.
Yeah, I might. I need to read Drunk 3PO's book, Achromatic
Yeah.
Blue, next. So I got
Word.
that one.
I think my buddies want me to play Dark and Darker with him. I'm gonna start playing Tarkov again. Man, you want a hard game to get into. But they've got an offline co-op mode too, so you can load in with people and play against the AI.
Okay.
It's just you don't get to keep anything. It's just like good practice because the
Right.
AI is like the AI in that game is fucking nothing compared to like regular FPS games. They are brutal. And if a sniper scav sees you and you don't see them, you will get one shot. Right in the dome. Well, Crash, where can they find you, man?
Crash Mondo JR, wherever it's relevant. I exist in a lot of places, though I don't speak much. Twitter's the best place to find me. It's where I'm most active.
And I am Flagrant Triggers everywhere except for Twitter. It's just Flagrant Trigger with the hard R. We'll catch you guys next week. Yeah, we're back on the Saturdays, so we'll do Saturdays except for one Sunday a month. Well, no. Yeah, I can just do Saturdays because she leaves at 3 on Saturdays. So yeah.
Perfect.
We're all good. Saturdays. We're back on Saturdays, guys. Go check out Simpcast tomorrow. Show Chrissy some love. And well, I guess we'll catch you guys later. You got anything before we go, Crash?
Nah, I'm good.
All right.
It's been
Well,
a good
guys,
week.
have a good weekend. Have a good night. Thanks for watching and take it easy.